You didn't wake up one day and lose control of your life. It happened slowly, quietly, one compromise at a time. They didn't demand power, they earned it, with charm, with understanding, with little phrases that sounded harmless. I'm just trying to help. You always overthink. Trust me, I know what's best for you. And you did trust them, because that's what good people do. They believe in others. But what started as care slowly turned into control. At first, it was about small things. What you wore, who you talked to, how you spent your time. Then, it became your choices, your confidence, your peace, until one day you realized you were asking for permission to be yourself. That's how control works. Not by force, but by repetition. It's a quiet erosion of your boundaries disguised as love, protection, or guidance. In this video, you'll see how they take control piece by piece, how they make you confuse fear with loyalty, and how to rebuild what they dismantled without becoming like them. Because you didn't lose control, they took it. Think about it. It never started with shouting. It started with concern. They said, I just worry about you. So you changed how you acted to keep them calm. They said, I just want what's best. So you began to second-guess your own choices. They said, I only get upset because I care. So you learned to shrink yourself to avoid upsetting them. And you called that love. You stopped wearing certain things because they didn't like the attention. You stopped seeing friends because they were a bad influence. You stopped expressing emotions because you're too sensitive. Every change seemed small, justified even. But together, they built a cage disguised as care. At some point, you realized you didn't decide much anymore. What to say, what to feel, who to be. You started editing your personality just to keep peace. That's how they take control. Not by demanding it, but by making you offer it. And once you start giving away your power willingly, it doesn't even feel like it's being stolen. But how do they do that so precisely? How do they convince intelligent, self-aware people to hand over their autonomy one piece at a time? That's what you'll understand next. Control isn't taken all at once. It's built through patterns, repetition, and timing. And manipulators follow this process almost like a script. 1. The trust phase. Let me protect you. At first, they make you feel safe. They listen. They validate. They agree with your fears. They show up exactly when you feel lost. And slowly, your nervous system begins to link their presence with comfort. That's not an accident. It's conditioning. They're teaching your brain, I feel calm when they're in control. 2. The correction phase. You're doing it wrong. Once trust is established, they begin to guide you. They criticize softly, wrapped in advice. I just think you could handle things better if you did it my way. At first, you resist, but they stay calm, patient, even charming. So you compromise. And every compromise is a thread. You don't feel it tightening, not yet. 3. The dependency phase. You need me. Here's where it deepens. They isolate you just enough to make themselves your emotional center. When you struggle, they rescue you, but remind you that without them you'd fall apart. They rewrite your success as their guidance and your mistakes as proof you can't manage alone. You start asking permission to feel capable. 4. The control phase. I know what's best for you. By the time you notice the pattern, it feels natural. You think it's partnership, but it's possession. You start defending them to others, not because they rewrite, but because you're afraid to face how wrong it's become. That's how they take everything without ever raising their voice. Control hidden inside care, cages built from comfort. Here's the truth they never want you to see. You didn't lose control. They dismantled it one emotion at a time. They didn't steal your strength. They convinced you to hide it. They didn't silence your voice. They made you doubt it. And the moment you stopped trusting your own judgment, they no longer needed to control you. You started controlling yourself. That's the genius of slow manipulation. It doesn't break you, it rewires you. It turns I choose into I should, I want into I can't, I know into maybe they're right. By the time you realize what's happening, you've already internalized their voice. You hear it in your mind before you make a decision. What will they think? Will this upset them? Maybe I shouldn't. That hesitation isn't yours, it's theirs. And the cruelest part? They make you believe it's love, that obedience is care, that shrinking is maturity, that silence is peace, but none of that is love. Love doesn't erase who you are to make you easier to handle. Love doesn't make you smaller to feel safe. Love doesn't require fear to function. You didn't become weak. You became conditioned to survive. And now survival is turning into awareness. That's the turning point, when you finally see the pattern. Because once you see it, it can't control you anymore. Awareness breaks the spell. And that possess when the real you, the one they buried under guilt and fear, starts to wake up again. Now that you've seen how they took control, it's time to take it back, piece by piece, just like they stole it. But this time, it's not about fighting them, it's about remembering you. 1. Start with small decisions. After manipulation, even simple choices feel risky. What to wear, what to eat, when to rest. So start there. Every time you make a decision without asking for permission, even silently, you rewiring your mind for independence. It may feel wrong at first, that's normal. That wrong feeling is just freedom returning. 2. Stop explaining yourself. You've spent years defending every thought, every action. You don't owe anyone a presentation of your choices. When someone questions you, answer with calm confidence. Because that's what feels right for me. That sentence alone can undo years of control. 3. Rebuild boundaries quietly. You don't have to announce your change. Just live it. When they test you, and they will, stay firm without anger. They'll accuse you of being distant or selfish. Let them. Their confusion is proof that your clarity is returning. 4. Reconnect with the parts of you they silenced, the hobbies, the laughter, the intuition, the voice that once filled the room. Those aren't memories. They're waiting. Every time you express something authentic, you take back what was stolen. 5. Redefine control. It's not about power over anyone else, it's power within. The ability to choose, to say no, to exist without fear. Because healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before they convinced you to apologize for it. You didn't lose control. You were trained to forget that you had it. They took it piece by piece, your choices, your time, your confidence, but they could never take your core. It was only buried, waiting for you to remember. Every decision you make now, no matter how small, is a declaration. I'm back. Every time you say no without guilt, you reclaim ground they thought they owned. Every moment of self-respect is rebellion against the control they built. You don't need to fight them. You just need to stop participating in the version of yourself they created. Because once you stop playing that role, their power disappears. You were never weak. You were surviving. And now you're not surviving anymore. You're leading. They took your control step by step. Now you take it back the same way. Slowly, calmly, permanently. Subscribe to the channel and don't stop at this video. They're still using tricks you haven't noticed yet. The next video will show you exactly how they do it. And once you see it, you'll never see people the same way again.